It was a warm sunset. There was a great commotion around the farm because there was a certain energy manifesting towards the barn. Somebody knew that something was up, and that somebody was the farm animals. The farm animals gathered in the red barn because they saw Walter and Tobias. Something was on their minds. Walter and Tobias had been reminiscing of all the days when they were racing and when they were in their glory days, and they decided to go take a step outside near the creek and have a talk. Walter and Tobias approached the creek, a trot slower than the trot during the racing days, but a confident trot nonetheless. Walter approached the stream and looked at Tobias and said, "Brother, do you remember what it felt like racing?" Tobias looked over at Walter and he said, "How could I forget it, brother? It was the best days of our lives." Walter looked over at Tobias and said, "Do you remember the way that we would lap all the other horses? It was like we were the only ones racing." Tobias looked at his brother and said, "Brother, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was always your second." Well, Walter looked at Tobias and he said, "I was always your first." The creek water dribbled slowly as he looked at Tobias and he said, "Brother, what do you say to one last race? What do you say to one final race? Just me and you." Tobias, he didn't answer right away. He was playing with the water with his hoof. He was hesitant to answer. Walter waited and he looked at him and said, "Brother, what do you say? One more race?" And Tobias, he looked at Walter and he said, "Brother, I don't know if I could do one more race. My whole life I've lived in your shadow. Second place every single race. You were first. It was a life of victory. I never wanted first place, but we've been retired for 20 years. I don't know if I could handle one more second place. In fact, I'm afraid it would kill me. I don't think I can do it, brother. I don't think I can handle one more second place." Now Walter, he looked at Tobias and he said, "Tobias, you're my brother. I love you. After all of that time that you lifted me up and you gave me first place, Tobias, don't you know that, well, it's your time to feel the glory of first place? Brother, I'd love to give you this last race. What do you say? One final race, brother." Tobias, he looked at Walter, he said, "Let's gather the farm animals. Let's meet at the red barn." So there they were, all the animals. There was a larger commotion around the farm. The sheep were coming down from the hills. Farmer's dog was there. The chickens were coming out of the coop. The frogs were coming out of the woodwork. Everybody was there at the barn. Walter and Tobias, you could hear them hoofing and you could hear them howling. The rooster said, "All right, then, I want a clean race. We're going to head down the red barn. I want to race all the way up to the top of the hill at the farmhouse, back down around the lake, and the finish line will be back here at the red barn. This is a one race, and I want a fun and I want a friendly race for our friends here." All the animals cheered, and Walter and Tobias were lined up. The final race was preparing to start. A rooster howled. How does a rooster howl sound, Bobby?
Cock-a-doodle-doo. What?
Yeah, there it is, yes. The rooster sounded cock-a-doodle-doo, and they were off. Walter and Tobias kicking it straight off the finish line, neck and neck. They were riding up along the hilltop. They were heading towards the farmer's house. Within a moment, they were ready behind it. They kicked it around the edge. These horses were just as fast as they'd ever been, 20 years older than they were, but it was like they hadn't aged a day. Horses whipped around the house and back down around the lake. The golden sun was sitting on the sunset, reflecting across the water, silhouetting the horses in the horizon. It was a beautiful scene. The two horses neck and neck. You could have mistaken it for these two horses in their prime and their youth. They rounded around the edge, and there it was, the barn, the red barn. It was the final stretch. It was the final stretch for Walter and Tobias. They were neck and neck, and for the first time ever, Walter started to let up just a little bit. Tobias started to gain. Tobias was in first place for the first time in his life, gunning for the finish line. He was about to win first place for the first time in his life on his final race when Walter kicked it into overdrive and blasted straight ahead into the finish line. Walter had taken first place. Tobias stumbled over the finish line. Tobias flabbergasted. What had his brother done? His brother betrayed him. He didn't say anything.
This about the train.
He merely looked.
Tobias the train.
Tobias looked at his brother.
How could he do that to him?
Tobias dropped dead on the spot. Dead on the ground.
Oh my god.
What the fuck,
God.
man?
Walter, well, he looked at his brother's
Oh my God,
body. And
someone's killing the horse.
the farmer's dog. The farmer's dog walked up. The farmer's dog looked at Walter, and you know what he said to Walter? He said, Walter, how could you do this? Tobias was your brother. He trusted you. He loved you. How could you betray your brother like this? The farmer's dog questioned. The farmer's dog pushed into Walter. He said, how could you do this, Walter, to your one brother that trusted you, that supported you your entire life? How could you betray him in this final act? And Walter, he looked at the farmer's dog right in the eyes, and he said, holy shit, it's a talking dog.
Dude, that was by far
How
the
could
greatest
Walter
gay
do
horse
that,
romance
man?
I've ever listened to.
That was getting questionably erotic out there for a minute. Would you please enlighten us all, Dino, with a brief synopsis of Rat's story?
There's two horses. They're very fast, and they end up going to tournaments and winning first and second. It's 20 years after they decide to do their final race. The dog announces it. Like, why would he do that? It's so heartless. And then Walter says, "Holy shit, it's a talking horse." The end.
Oh,
But you said it's a talking dog, man.
talking dog, man.
Talking dog. Talking
Okay,
dog.
well listen. Hey, that was
we
really
have to
good
start
up
from
until
the
the
beginning.
end there. Rats, would you mind maybe starting us from the beginning? Because I think Dino did miss a crucial... I'm pulling your leg. Oh
Well-
dear. That might have been a joke in poor taste. Oh.
You want a real synopsis on that, alright?
Yeah,
A
I'll take
that.
one.
That was a beautiful story, Rat. That hit real close to home, you know, with the betrayal, you know, Juice World, you know, I know all about that.
What's the June's World? What is that?
The Juice World.
The June's World? Am I
The,
saying that right?
I
Real.
think it's like, okay, Siri, play June's World, you know, Bobby?
Yeah, honestly, man, I can kind of relate to that story, especially the part about the gay horses. He kind of hits close to home. It's pretty emotional.
That was oddly erotic.
Wait, what? Bestiality is a mortal sin and something that we should absolutely not
That's
entertain.
against the
Okay.
server rules,
No,
man.
Yeah,
no,
let's
Bobby,
let's
Bobby,
move
Bobby,
on.
Especially
Bobby,
Let's
Bobby.
move
I
on.
was just saying it got erotic in that one scene
What scene
That's
was
against
that?
the
There were
server rules,
horses
man.
in
Go
a
ahead and
creek,
type
son.
that.
with the water when they were discussing
Oh dear.
in the sunset.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's
no.
very
Bobby, I have a
inappropriate.
question.
Hey Jason, if you keep jumping on my head, I'm gonna put a pickle in your dome, okay? I swear to God, jump on my head one more time. Oh, that was a twofer. That's unfortunate. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, y'all, before Rats begins on his story for Jamie Foxx, I know myself, I struggle with the high blood pressure, and sometimes the head stepping, it gets to be a lot. What I find helps me is taking 10 deep breaths.
Get me up, brother.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Oh my goodness, Slammy. I think you've made a grave mistake.
Sorry, boys.
Let's go take him out, Bobby.
Alright, after you.
What up?
It's Salmi.
I think. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's very
Hey,
stuck.
boys! Hey, boys!
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, boys!
You're looking a little stuck there, bud. What seems to be the issue? Wow, that's taking a lot of clicks, dude! What is this? Did you see how many clicks that took, man?
Love
That is
you.
amazing.